right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So the finals for the 2025 Legion Sports Festival just wrapped up, and it went pretty much exactly as we expected, with a couple of exceptions after prejudging. So in fifth place, you had Colossus Ken, so we're definitely going to talk about that. Fourth place, Florian Porson. Third place, Bruno Santos. Second place, Patrick Moore. And in first place, Tonio Burton. No surprise there. So I want to talk about Ken for a second here, because I think one of the biggest surprises of prejudging was the fact that they didn't have Colossus Kennedy in that first call-out. Now, he did manage to take top 5, which means he actually squeezed out Blessing Awodibu from that top 5 at prejudging. And when you look at him next to Blessing, if you look at this four-man call-out here, Ken is the guy on the left, to the left of Blessing. And this illustrates why I think Ken should have been in the first call-out at prejudging, maybe even instead of Blessing. I think the only shots that Blessing takes over Ken are maybe the back shots, and that's just because his upper body is so crazy in the back shots. But his lower body, and I think he definitely got worse at finals, particularly the conditioning in the lower body. His lower body is like, it was non-existent at finals, Blessing's. And that's kind of the thing here, is like Blessing does have a crazy upper body, but the lower body just doesn't match. And this is kind of what we saw in those pictures leading up to the show. It didn't look like Blessing had brought up the lower body enough to really be a factor here. And when you look at him next to Ken, I mean, Ken's lower body just blows Blessing out of the water. He blows really everybody in this lineup out of the water when it comes to just the lower body. But his upper body too. He's a big dude. I was really surprised that he wasn't in the first call out at prejudging. And I think maybe had he been, you could have made an argument for him maybe even being higher than fifth. But I was really glad to see him place in the top 5 and squeeze out somebody that was in that first call out at prejudging, particularly Blessing. Because for me, that was the biggest surprising part when I saw Ken was excluded at prejudging, is I just did not see how they had Blessing over Ken at prejudging. I thought Ken just blew him away. But we never even got to see them next to each other in those callouts to really confirm that. So once you saw that at the finals and you got to see them stand next to each other, I think for me, it was no contest that Ken was taking that over Blessing. Now, let's talk about the top 3 here. So they did a call-out just of Bruno and Patrick. So that kind of, I think, reaffirms what we said at prejudging, was that Tonio was just a clear winner here. And the real battle was for second place between between Patrick and Bruno. And for me, Patrick was one of the biggest stories of this show, aside from obviously Tonio winning. Because you guys saw how Patrick looked in Cali. You saw how Patrick placed in Cali. And this is, I think, one of the best one-week transformations between shows that I've seen in a very long time. And get this, me and Patrick were texting today after prejudging, and I thought this was really interesting, and you guys might appreciate this little detail. Patrick said between the Cali Pro in this show, so about 6-7 days a week, he did a total of 32 sessions in the gym between Cali and this show. That's like 4 sessions a day. He also told me he was 15 pounds lighter for this Legion show than he was in Cali. So you can tell this is a clear example, and this is why I'm so excited for Patrick. This is a very clear example of hard work pays off. Patrick refused to accept that he's just going to be a 10th place guy at a smaller show like Cali. I think that placing really kind of lit a fire under him, and he busted his ass going into this show to get a better placing, and that's exactly what he did. And I believe Patrick will continue to compete. I believe that's his goal, is to continue to compete until he wins a show to qualify for the Olympia this year. So I think this is not going to be the last time that we see Patrick on stage in 2025. But that's what I like so much about this story with Patrick, is that he just didn't give up and didn't accept that he's just going to be, a second call-out guy. 32 training sessions in the gym between Cali and this show to achieve this transformation. Very impressive stuff. I think very motivational stuff as well. This is the kind of stuff that I think these are the storylines that really make bodybuilding way more exciting, is when you have a guy like Patrick that was really counted out and then comes back like this, even though, like I said, I think Tonio was the clear winner here, and neither Patrick nor Bruno, I personally don't think they were pushing Tonio to take that top spot. I think he was like the clear leader of the pack here. So I think second place for Patrick was a win in and of itself for Patrick, because he beat a lot of the guys that we saw in Cali last week that beat Patrick. So that was like affirmation for him that what he did worked, and it actually paid off. And I mean, what can I say about Tonio that I haven't already said? I mean, the guy, he looks a lot bigger here than the last time we saw him. We know that he added size. He added about 15 pounds from the last time that we saw him on stage last year. He's just very balanced. He's got this crazy 3D look to his physique. He's not the biggest guy on stage, but he's super balanced. He's really well proportioned. He had really good conditioning. He's just filled out in proportion so well. And I think that was the key thing about him adding some extra size in the time that he took off, was he added that size in the right places. It didn't go anywhere that it shouldn't. It really made him, if anything, more balanced, the muscle that he added between last year and this year. And now he's got that Olympia qualification, and we're going to see if he can beat his best Olympia placing so far, which was 8th. And I guess that's a question for you guys in the comments down below. Do you think we can see Tonio maybe crack the top 6 at the Olympia this year with this new, improved version of his physique? Because this is something we don't see very often, like where they send the first place guy back in line. I don't think we haven't seen it this year yet, and we don't see it very often any years, but we haven't seen it in 2025 yet, where they just send the first place guy back in line and say, okay, we're comparing you guys for second and third. That was how dominant Tonio was here, and it's just not something you see very often. So it's clearly a very improved Tonio. Will it be the same thing at the Olympia where he's just ahead of the pack and, you know, maybe a first call-out guy? And I think the other thing, too, like with Blessing, I think that was a big point with this show. You know, leading into the show was the talk of Blessing's comeback. I don't know what happened with Blessing here. I mean, he took a lot of time off, longer than Tonio, to really try to fix his physique and presumably add size to the lower body, because that's where he really needed it. And honestly, I thought maybe this was one of his worst showing. I mean, dude, go to that call out of him versus Ken, where they're comparing for, I guess they would have been comparing for 4, 5, 6, and 7 in that call out. But I mean, all that time that he took off, and you look at his lower body in this call out, I think this might be the worst I've seen his lower body look. I mean, there were some shots in this finals comparison where he had, not only were his legs like obviously undersized compared to his upper body, but where his quads like showed almost no separation. Like they really flattened out and just like softened. Then he turns around from the back and he's got like a crazy back double bicep. He's got crazy width in the lat spread. Then the glutes and hamstrings are just like, you can't even see them. So I don't know what's next for Blessing, but for this being like his big comeback show, he took, I believe it was almost 2 years, if not more than 2 years away to focus on improving his physique. And I mean, really, not to be too harsh, but kind of has nothing to show for it here. He didn't even place in the money in the top 5 at his big comeback show. So I'm not sure, you know, what the next move for Blessing is going to be. If he's going to take, you know, another extended downtime. I mean, that apparently didn't work for him this time around. Or if he's going to keep competing and trying to get to the Olympia. I don't know. I don't know what's next for Blessing after this. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.